Here we are at the 2014 SHOT Show at the Medford Knife booth with the one and only Greg Medford.
Hey guys, Greg Medford from Medford Knife. I'm here with Brent, Mr. Knife Guy. You guys can get everything from MrKnifeGuy.com. He wanted me to give you guys a quick walk around stuff we've got going on at our booth, and I've got a few new things that maybe some of you who haven't heard about me, maybe you only heard I'm a big jerk and you haven't seen my stuff yet. I'm going to give you a little quick tour around here. So let's take a look at just a few new things for 2014 real quick, okay? This is our 187 line, and these are knives. The map pricing on these is in the $425 price point. These are hand ground, American made at our place in Phoenix. All of my guys are combat vets. I've got a Greek Orthodox monk and a firefighter who didn't want to get burned up out in the desert working at our company, and everybody puts their heart and soul into everything we make. We've got a flipper here. Really nice little knife. It's called the 187 line because all the stock is 187 material. It's a little flipper, really nice for guys that like a little bit smaller, lighter knife than Medford Knife's kind of known for making. I put a little unique style to this, a little kind of turn of the century, of the last century styling, a little Art Nouveau, kind of a hammer trigger off like an old Colt or Smith & Wesson. And the ergonomics are as good as they were on the pistol for the last 100 years, and it's got some new stuff as well, and it makes for a really nice hilt and safety on the knife. In that same small category, we've got our RMP, stands for a ramp nose blade. This is my first kind of version of this style of blade that I've done. These all one-hand function really nicely. It's got micro jimping on it. It's micro jimped on the back strap, a little for reverse grip position. And I'm just probably known as a designer for cramming a ton of blade into as much blade as I can into whatever handle I make. These are all the same thickness and material. I like D2 because it's such a versatile heat treating metal. This has got our Vulcan finish on it. I think we're the only company in the industry doing this type of finish. It makes every blade really unique, and so if two buddies get the same knife, they're both going to have really a unique knife. We've got over here a new fixed blade, which we developed with some Marine Corps friends of mine from the sniper community. The state training group in Phoenix kind of asked for a couple of things from me, and then I put together and came up with this sight. He asked for a sight and a knife and had some suggestions, and then I made up my own version. This is a really cool knife for a scout sniper community. It's got 1-inch tick marks on the back for doing measuring. It's got a through-looking sight rangefinder, which gets you a 400-meter range for a 2-meter target or a 6-foot tall man, a 300, a 200, and then a 100 from waist to the top of the head. So it's a through-looking rangefinder where you put someone at the tick mark, steady your arm. Works really nicely. A great little 270 thou thick blade stock. Traditional drop point, just utilitarian knife. It's got a screwdriver on it to make small incremental adjustments under the protected crown on scopes, under the bezel adjustments, and half-inch scope ring mount wrench. You can also snap quarter drive hexes for you guys shooting your 50 cals and your 338 Mapuas, the heavier ring mounts. You can snap a 1/4 inch hex into here and use this like a wrench to tighten and loosen your scope ring mounts. Pretty cool, versatile tool. I like to take, when I'm making knives, I like to integrate as much pragmatic kind of tool, common, no sizzly bullshit, just common things that guys will actually use and like to build them into the knife. Even on my Praetorian, which is our best-selling knife, I've got a breaker on it that I've tested extensively and broken lots and lots of windows. And if you ever go over to my channel on YouTube at Medford Knife, you'll see video of me breaking truck windows and car windows with it, and it works really. Most guys are full of it. They have breakers on knives that don't really work that well, or they wear down and they don't work that well. You can, with this, literally break hundreds and hundreds of windows, and it will always work. It won't fail. We've done a lot of research. So this is our most popular knife. This is the Praetorian GT. It's our base model Praetorian. You can see the shadow of it on the cover of this year's catalog. Great knife. I offer it in 3 different versions: an all-tie version, an all-fat version, and then a micro version. So this is our standard Praetorian GT that a lot of people are really already familiar with. It's the Praetorian tie with titanium hardware, all done in-house in our place in Phoenix. And then this is the micro Praetorian. That's our #1 selling folder. We've got a ton of other folders, but and a ton of other fixed blades and a lot of new stuff. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but that's the core. Oh, I've got one of the really cool. This is our new TFF1. For those of you who are Medford knife fans who know about the TFF1 already with the modified blade. Great knife. Made a little greater, I think. In a stonewash, bead blasted tie, and high vis orange G10 side. Just a lovely big knife that prints really flat in the pocket. I mean, it prints as flat as any commercially made, medium-sized folder. And then you take it out, you've got like a man-sized knife you can get it done with. So this is our new TFF2. For those of you who haven't seen that yet, I got rid of the recurve blade because so many people couldn't sharpen it, and I like this design a little better anyways. So this is our pocket machete that I originally made for bush pilots. Pretty cool knife. And the guys are doing a great job doing assembly now. It flicks really nicely, even though it was never intended to be a flicker. A lot of guys haven't even seen this knife yet, but this is our big full-size flipper. 3/16 solid titanium scales, 260 thou thick blade. Goes out like a machine gun. Part of the design philosophy of our company is minimalism. So less stuff to break, less stuff to get sand in it, less stuff that need to be replaced, and just less things to go wrong. I want to make a man tool that lasts a lifetime. So this is our Viper, really, really nice, elegant, and useful knife. The Marauder. I named it after the A26. Sometimes guys think these are ornamental, and although they look cool, they're really not.
It's ergonomics.
Without them on there, guys drop this because humans can sense the slide with texture, and without it, it just drops out of people's hands. It's a little heavier than people expect. And then I use the fuller on my knives. I know everyone calls them blood grooves, but I use the fuller to actually open my knives, so there's less stuff. So you can see everything about this knife when you look in on it. It's just rugged, tough. I like to do everything in 1/4 inch. Even the solid milled titanium clip. Everything's just kind of badass, built, beefy to last a lifetime. And the last thing I'll close out with today, I'll show you our Arktika. I named this after the Russian icebreaker that was the first to cut into the North Pole. It's a monster knife I made for the northern provinces of Canada and up in the Arctic Circle. It's got an ice chipper instead of a pure breaker on the end, but it will break windows. But that's a hardened piece of D2 with NP3 nickel Teflon on it. The blade is a combo grind with a really stubby flat ground nose so that it's got a ton of steel up here for poking and chipping and prying in ice. And then it's got a great elegant hollow ground main cutting edge. It's jimped everywhere for cold weather use, for low light use, where maybe there's only 6 or 8 hours of daylight and sometimes you're out working in the dark up in the northern provinces, in northern latitudes. And if you've got gloves on, you can still feel and index this in the low light with all of the jimping on it and get good retention when your hands are cold and wet and it's dark. That's the knife this is the knife I made for them. So anyways, might be a little much for you guys wearing Madras walking shorts down in Florida, skipping around in your flip-flops. It's a lot of knife, but for the guys up doing hard man work in the dark with a lot of heavy clothing on, it's a great tool. And a lot of times guys carry pocket knives like back up to their fixed blade. This is a pocket knife that, you know, it's not backup and it needs no backup. It's a monster. This has got some really cool stuff. If you guys ever get around to buying one of these knives or get the chance to see one in your hands, look through the knife and see how there's no pins or anything that lock the blade in position. There's no shoulder stops or catches. It's all internal to the joint, and it's all 1/4 inch stock, so there's nothing little about it to hide it. It's a bitchin' knife, so that's the Artica here from Medford Knife. I'll put these away while we're chatting. So, Brent, any questions for me?
No, Greg, I really, really appreciate your time, and we're looking forward to carrying your incredible product. And we hope you have a wonderful SHOT Show. Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much. And I'll tell you what, I couldn't do any of it without these awesome guys that are part of my team who bust their ass every day. And everything I ask them to do, no matter how crazy it is, they get it done, no questions asked, and with a smile on their face. So if you ever are out in Arizona, and Mr. Knife Guy, you have to come by and get a tour of the factory.
Definitely.
Well, usually people have been to knife places when they come around, they're like, we have a museum up front dedicated to warriorship and knife use. So it's really cool. So if you guys are ever out in Arizona, get some golf, then come by Medford Knife and Tool and we'll give you a tour, okay?
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man. And Greg Medford Knife. I'm out!